Hi guys, it's Janet with Living Room Talks. Today I have a very special guest with me. Miss Willis, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Davonna Willis with 419 Education and Training. I'm an athletic trainer. I am a massage therapist. I am an entrepreneur. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am all those above.
So we're going to just tackle some of those roles that you have. I want to talk to you about being an entrepreneur. When
Mhm.
did that start? What was the spark that set it off?
Well, it started. So I went to Columbia. Well, I worked at Columbia University, and in their master's degree program, I majored in health education. And so part of my health education, I had to actually write a thesis if I had a wellness center. So years later, I got laid off when I was on maternity leave, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I knew I didn't want to work for anybody else. This was about 11 years because my son is going to be 11 in December. So this is about 11 years ago. And yeah, so I said, what am I going to do? And God was like, it starts with massage. Mind you, I didn't even do a full body massage in over probably 8 years at the time. So I had to go back into my thesis.
So, what was the first step in starting your business? Did you have a business plan? Did you reach out to people? What was that initial process like?
So going back to my thesis, I'm like, okay, what do I start with? So yes, I had a mini business plan from the thesis. I was looking at office space at the time. So I was actually looking at a build out, but that was above that was above my pay grade. Like I said, oh no, this is way too much. So what happened was I was looking for a space where I can sublet and work there. So I'm in Arizona, and so we have a lot of salon spas, and so it's individual therapists or individual hair techs that have their rooms. And I found an esthetician, and she was looking to sublet her room. So I didn't have to really purchase anything. I didn't have to purchase a table. I didn't, so she had all that. I just had to have my own sheets. And she kind of actually gave me a hand in starting. She's like, you need business cards, rack cards, what is you gonna what type of massage you're gonna do, right? Because it's so broad. And so that's what I did. So it wasn't athletic training related, it's all started with massage, and then I curved back into my athletic training
So,
resources.
talk about that curve back into athletic training and some of the education stuff that you were doing.
Right. So I started my business back in 2012. And so as I started growing my business, growing my team, everything still was athletic training based because people would come to me because of my athletic training knowledge. I wasn't just a standard massage therapist. So when they come in, I'm already breaking them down. I'm already looking at their gait. I'm already telling them what's going on. So that's what built up my rapport. And I would hire therapists who were similar or who I was able to train to see people the same way I did. So when I'm back in like 2017 is when I was able to revamp my business, and I went from a massage clinic to massage and wellness center. So I added corrective therapy because we can't sell physical therapy. So I went to corrective therapy, stretch therapy, running analysis, and so that's when everything shifted back in 2017. So if you were to come into my wellness center, everyone knew us from massage first. So we had to have a shift of mentality. And so basically you would see the therapist say, oh, in order for you to get rid of your migraines, you also should see our athletic trainer because she can do this and this and that to help out. So we had it was a package deal. So not only were you getting massage therapy, you was getting corrective therapy, and people, were getting better quicker, the turnaround time. And so they would tell others, and, word of mouth. And I was big on marketing. So I had to advertise the corrective therapy more, but the selling drive was get a massage and then go to the athletic trainer. So I did eventually hire a AT as well to work on people. So that was the
So,
shift.
so tell me about how you market it. these athletic training services, but not use terminology that would get you in trouble.
Right. So corrective therapy, right? Corrective exercise is really what we called it. And so what I did was I had a template, and I'm like, this is what you would get in physical therapy. This is what you would get here at Blue Skies, right? And so physical therapy, you would probably get 10 minutes with the PT and then the rest with the aide or the tech. With us here at Blue Skies, you'll get the athletic trainer the whole entire time. With PT, you would get, they only can focus, insurance will only cover the one body part. But here at Blue Skies, we can focus on the whole body part and the kinetic chain and talk about that. So that was, so it's a visual, right? So marketing is, so people need to see it and hear it, right? And so when they saw that, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, with your insurance, you pay your copay. But by the time you see them for 3 sessions, one good session with us is this amount. And so just making it make sense for people. And we were able to make that sale.
So first thought that comes to mind, you must have done some market research. The wellness space, the healthcare space is such a big space. How did you find your niche and who did you target with your marketing?
So being an athletic trainer, I'm still an athletic trainer at heart. So I'm looking for athletes. So, weekend warriors, people who like to work out, I'm in Arizona. So a lot of hiking, there's a lot of golfing, there's a lot of triathlons. So those type of people we would see and focus that. So that was part of our target market. Also, if it was, I attracted other business owners because I'm a business owner. They see my hustle, they see my grind. I attracted other business owners. I attracted, if the wife would come, eventually the husband would come because he was actually, sometimes the wives would stay at home moms and they had the time. And then they're like, well, you need to go to Davonna because she needs to fix this and this and this on you. And so then the husbands will come. And so then I would do the, either corrective therapy with them, stretch therapy, and then also massage. So that was the base. So we knew who, I'm always an athletic trainer at heart. Even with my massages, it was never the fluff. I actually had to pull that within 6 months to a year when I realized, like, I don't do this relaxation. I don't even know what that is. Like, if I feel it and I feel some things that need to be broken down, I'm going straight at it. So more medical, more therapeutic.
So new businesses or people who have business ideas, what would be your go-to advice for them?
So good question. And I actually have a free training on that to help athletic trainers because I want athletic trainers to know that you are good enough and you can run your own business and you don't have to stay within the well of being in a school setting, in a college setting, in professional setting, or even not industrial, right? So I want you to think of being a sports performance person or a fitness person, so you can actually think out the box. But usually I want to say, find what your passion is. So my passion was massage because I saw the benefits when I did work in a collegiate setting many years ago. I was the go-to trainer, even if they weren't even on my team, like, oh, Davonna, can you run my hamstrings out real quick? No, because I'm my own team I need to tend to. But with massage and physical therapy or athletic training, I would see the benefits of my athletes getting on the field sooner. So pretty much I found my passion. So find what your passion is, right? And so if it is sports performance and you want to actually help students or athletes get better at what they do, then that's what you do. So first and foremost, find what your passion is. Second, who's your target market in that industry.
So kind of switching gears a little bit. I love getting your emails. I love seeing what you're doing. I love the information that you put out there. Why do you do those newsletters? How do you come up with topics for those newsletters?
So newsletters is the way to keep top of mind, right? So I also currently, so my business is training and education. So now I'm a CE provider for not only ATs, but now massage therapists. And so to keep in top of mind of, all right, this is the classes that I have coming out. If you can't attend this one, maybe you can attend the one in a couple of months. Here's the online. So I'm trying to reach in different markets. So one thing I'd like to do is educate about business, because I had to learn on the fly. I didn't major in business, right? So I took business certification courses. I've taken some marketing courses. I've took women's workshops and educating. So everything that I had to learn was, and paid a lot of money to do it. I'm trying to give it for not free. Some education, some of it is free tips. You know, you hear my Tip Tuesdays and I'll give free tips. But I'm also trying to educate people to say, here is a template that I used that was successful. Use it, add your name, add your logo, and use it and go. Business in the box mentality. And that was the biggest thing that I'm really trying to do on the business side. And on the CE side, you know, just educate. I like to educate a lot of athletic trainers on more manual therapy techniques, because I know a lot of athletic trainers don't even get a chance to do it based off time or whatever, but I feel like manual therapy is super important. So my goal is also to educate on the AT side, more manual therapy techniques.
So you bring up an interesting thing that just popped into my mind, being in a box. Athletic trainers, we tend to kind of put ourselves in the box. Being minority women, we kind of put ourselves in a box. Did you struggle with that, of bringing yourself outside of the box, being a minority female athletic trainer, going into business, going into education?
Oh, 100%. It wasn't even, it wasn't even heard of. It wasn't even heard of. So, you know, before I got laid off, I was working at an orthopedic clinic as a physician extender. And Arizona still didn't know what that was. It was someone from the Midwest who came and said, listen, we need physician extenders. So it was still a weird thing for them to hear. So even with that, I've always been the one, the one Black woman, the one trying something new, bringing this whole new concept to a whole different state, right? They didn't even hear about it. And so that's been my life, Janet. That's all I know, is being the only one among a sea of white men. Let's be honest, right? So for instance, when I was as an athletic trainer and I knew I was working baseball, shoulders weren't my strong suit. So guess what I did? I went to a conference taught by Dr. Andrews long time ago. That's how old I am, long time ago. Talking about Tommy Johns and rotator cuffs and all that stuff. And I look around and I'm like one of 5 Blacks, one of 1 Black woman. So that's my life. That's all I knew, right? And so it wasn't strange to me of this being new. And I think it's just being, I've always had some sort of confidence in me, myself. I learned years later, because my mom was like, why you always have issues when you work for people? I learned that I was supposed to be an entrepreneur, because I was always thinking my thoughts like, well, why, when I'm working at the clinic, why they're not doing this or that? You know, I always had questions. And the answer like, Davonna, this is just the way it is. But should it be that way? You know, can we change? And so when you're an entrepreneur, you're just forward thinking, you're a visionary. And so I recognized that in myself years later and I accept it. But I'm so used to being the only one for so long. So when I found out about the think tank, I was like, what, when did this happen? I missed the boat, but I was out the industry for a minute. I kept everything up, but I just was out the industry. So I was super happy, like, this is amazing. So, yeah.
For those that don't know, the think tank is a group chat of minority athletic trainers and students and educators and business people that are athletic trainers. And it can run the gamut from very serious conversations. It could be where I'm getting my latest breaking news on stories within the athletics world or on social justice, to me learning about what Scrapple is. Didn't know what that was, but now I do.
Right.
So one thing about business, I wanted to find out from you, in your opinion, what was the biggest mistake you made and what was the lesson learned from it?
One of the biggest mistakes, I was just talking to somebody about this earlier, is payroll. So I am also, as a massage therapist, massage therapists are known to be empaths. And I know how in the industry, you know, how the pay is. So I was making sure that I was paying my massage therapist well, even though they don't think I was, but I was. And at 2018 is when I had the hardest financial hit in my business. And I was in tears when I sat down with my business coach. So I had my own coach and we went through because she's like, why are you taking out these micro loans? Think of a payday loan, but for business. And I never had to take one out before. And all of a sudden I just found myself taking out these micro loans. And I'm like, why am I doing that? If you know what a micro loan is, it's like, so Square, everyone knows what Square is. You swipe your card. So as a business, if you're making a certain amount of money, Square goes to you like, oh, wow, Davonna, you're bringing in a lot of income. We can give you $5,000 upfront, right? And then you'll pay a percentage. They'll give you a flat rate. You'll pay a percentage back every time, you know, you get your payment. So say if I made $2,000 for the week, I'm just throwing out a number. If I made $2,000 for a week, Square would take 150 of their, that would be the pay. So I was taking some loans like that. And I was like, yeah, why am I taking? And really sitting down and looking at my expenses, my wages, meaning what I was paying, my payroll, was higher than all of my other expenses, which is a very unbalanced P&L, by the way. And so, and it brought me in tears because I'm like, I'm just bleeding money. And I had to revamp. I had to have hard conversations with my employees, looking at, and that led to me building out my finance template that I have now. I had to look at my retention of per employee. This is how many people as a business I brought into you. This is how many people you kept. So you want to get paid this much, but your retention is less than 60%. So I'm taking a loss, or 50%. So your retention, my goal was always to have retention 80% and above. And it was possible. I had therapists and athletic trainers who did, and then I had people who wasn't. And so those conversations were hard. And like, you either have to ship up or I gotta let you go. And you know, I had to change my payment. Yeah, so that was one of the hardest lessons learned in business.
Being an entrepreneur, there's obviously a lot of leadership characteristics that you need to have or need to work on. What would you say your strengths are, and what would you say your weaknesses or things that you're still working on?
My strengths was I was able to see both sides of the coin because I've been an employee before. My weakness is I'm a New Yorker and I could be sharp at the tongue. And so having my business coach, she helped curve a lot of things I wanted to say initially. She's like, oh, nope, we can't say it like that. So, okay, let's find a different way of bringing it out. So that was really great for me to have her, because still in my mind, and she's no longer my coach, but she's a friend and we still keep in touch. I'll say, okay, how would Angela put this? Right? Like, because it's a softer tone.
What would Angela do?
It really was like, what would Jesus do? What would Angela do at this moment? Even in emails. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to this and then reply. But yes, that was hard. It's still, I'm better at it because I still have a team. My admin team that have my social media person, my person who helps me with the newsletters, my virtual assistant. So I still, and you know, if there's an error being made, and I'm like, all right, let me see. Is it something I'm saying or not saying that they're not getting? And do I need to reword it, restructure it? Or maybe that's just, and as a leader, knowing, okay, that's not her strong suit. Let me give it to my other assistant. because she could do it better. And seeing what your, what your team members, what's their strengths and weaknesses, because then you could kind of like, okay, we tried that a couple of times. That's not her thing. Well, let me try with this person. And then it works out better and everybody's happy.
So that's all the questions I have for you. So as the feature speaker, you get a couple minutes for your final statement. What would you like to say to our audience?
So for our athletic trainers out there, I really want to encourage you to think about being an entrepreneur. It's satisfying, especially if it's something that you love to do, and you can do it on your own terms and your own time. And that's my biggest thing, is really seeing out the box thinking, as well as brush up on some of your manual therapy skills. And I'm here for you if you need anything.
I appreciate your time so much. I'm definitely going to talk to you soon, and have a good night.
Thank you, Janet. You too. Bye.
Bye.